Hello guys, I am Umair Nazim and welcome to the object-oriented series of Let's Code. In this series, we will take a look on the object-oriented topics that are very important in your practical life. Now, you are watching the first lecture, and in that lecture we will not go in a very detail. I will just demonstrate you, I will just give an introduction about object-oriented, what is this object-oriented and why we use it. But in the upcoming lectures, we will deal with the classes, we will deal with the objects, how can we create the objects, and with a lot of various different topics. Before going to introduce this topic, I want to tell you one thing. In this series of object-oriented, I will create two parts for each video. So in the first part of the video, I will give you a demonstration on the board. And in the second part of the video, I will use the compiler and I will give you a practical example there. So it will be very beneficial for you. Now, without wasting any time, let me start and I will tell you what is an object-oriented. So actually, if you look to my videos, we were dealing with the arrays, we were dealing with the functions, and in some languages we call them as a method. We were dealing with that kind of things, about the different data types. Actually, the purpose of that all things are just to make you able so that you can come to object-oriented easily. Well, object-oriented is related to our practical life. So how can it relate to a practical life? So let's take an example of a student. Okay. So in the practical life, we have a student, and that student could have a name, it could have the surname, and age, height, and these kind of things. So what can we do in the object-oriented actually? In the object-oriented, we will create one class of that student. Okay, we will create a class with the name student, for example. So here, for example, we will create a class. Let's suppose that oblique, and the class is here class, and here we will give this class a name. For example, if I'm going to write about the student information, I will call this one as a student. Okay, and here okay, and here our class is going to finish. In this space, I can write anything related to that class. Okay. I can write the student name, the student surname, and these kind of things. Okay, this one is as a separate class. So what can I do? If you remember, we put everything within the main method in the previous video, because our execution will start from the main method every time. So that's why in the next file, okay, for example, let's suppose that in the next file here I will create the main method, okay, within a separate class. I will create a separate class. Within that class, I will create a main method. Okay, and in that method, I will call this class. Okay, and this class would have, you can say that, several properties, the several members. So I will create an object for that one, and I will call that class to there. So in the practical life, for example, here you can say, for example, we have a main. Oblique class. For example, in the class I can give any name, whatever you want. For example, here I will give a name to the class, any name. I'm just giving you an example this time. In the next video, we will deal about these things. These are related, the topics, these are related to the classes and objects. Okay. So here within this class, I have a main method. You can say, for example, white main. So here, for example, okay, that is also, you can say, a public. Okay, now here within this class, I can call this class easily. Okay, so this thing is related to, this is a structure. Actually, these things are related to our practical life. So when you will go to the companies, they will not, for example, say you just create an array, put the things there. That is not. In the companies, in the actual field, you will create a different structure, you will create a different file for your one thing, and you can put that thing, call that thing into the main class. Okay, so that one is basically an object oriented, in which you create the object of different things. So for example, if you have a big data, if you want to enter the values, for example, if you want to create a project for a big company, for example, it could have, for example, the employees, then the company could have the finance department, then the company could have an IT department. So you will create the different classes there, and you can call all that classes in your main class, in your main method, I mean. So that is an introduction about object oriented. And see you guys in the next video. In the next video, I will tell you about how to create the class and how to create the objects. Okay, then see you in the next video. Take care of yourself.